George, a dog pile. Hundley knew this meant trouble for someone. No papers, no yellow hat. The man must have gone out to drop off his work. The whole place was filled with strange dogs. Very strange dogs. How many dogs did George have in here? George wanted to know how many dogs he had, too. He counted. But he stopped at 37. That sounded wrong. And he never counted that little one at all. He wanted to count every dog only once. So he stuck the 3 small ones in his room, where he knew he could see them. He led the big ones into the man with the yellow hat's room, where they couldn't run around so much. And the hairy ones went in the bathroom. George wanted this one in with the big dogs. But it was hairy enough to go with the Harrys. There were 3 big, 3 small, and 3 hairy dogs.
George, I'm home. Oh, Hundley, what are you doing here? My new spread! George, there are like 20 dogs in here.
George remembered all the dogs.
So, where did these 3 and 3 and 3, 9 dogs come from?
I'm just so happy they're all back and all safe.
Well, everyone's back where they belong.
Huh?
Hundley! Stop the car! Hundley's in there! Come back! Oh, that's a nice recording of a cricket. Was it one of these? You know, hundreds of crickets chirping together can make a soothing, peaceful sound. But one little cricket in a quiet house can drive you bananas. Is there one in our house? Well, he probably wants to get out and go home. Here, catch him and free him outside. And here's a tip, George. Crickets are attracted to light.
Now that the mystery was solved and George knew what he was looking for, this was going to be easy. George was already smarter than a cricket, and he knew how to be faster. Then, a strange new sound. And then George set the cricket free to happily hop back to his cricket home.
Did you free that cricket? Good work! I am sure that's one happy cricket. Okay, that cricket left us some cleanup work, don't you think, George? Whew, all done. Ooh, sleep tight, George. Are you sure you put it outside? You know, George, if we don't catch that cricket, we'll never get any sleep. I've got it!
The man with the yellow hat didn't have the cricket, but he did have a solution.
People sure are buying a lot of coffee makers. I just wrapped 15 in a row.
There you are. I've been looking all over for you.
George wanted to play with the wrapper people some more, but he had to get these pants home. George hadn't been gone very long, but when he got back, the present had disappeared.
I'll thanks for picking up my pants, George. I know how curious a little monkey can be, so I put the present away. That should take your mind off of it.
But hiding the present only made George more curious. This was the first time George noticed the walls were wrapped. It looked like wrapping on top of more wrapping. Maybe there were 100 layers of wallpaper under here. Or not. Since he reached the end, George tried to put it all back. But it didn't want to go. Then he thought of a way to make this the perfect bathroom for the professor's birthday.
Is that you, George? Make sure you wash up before Professor Wiseman gets here. And would you make sure that bowl of her favorite fresh fruit is out where she'll see it? You can't get away with that. You didn't wash. This hand is all sticky. Okay, now, wow. What happened in here? Oh, Professor Wiseman, help me hide this mess.
Hello, George. Everything okay?
I'll be right out. I got your favorite fruit. Help yourself.
Ooh. Is this a banangerine? You can't put skins on fruit, George. Only nature can do that. On the other hand, nature doesn't make banangerines.
Sorry, I'm... Happy birthday from George and me.
Oh, you didn't have to. Would you like to help me open it, George? I never would have guessed that's what was in this big box.
That's why it was wrapped that way.
Oh, my favorite symphony. You remembered. Thanks. Let's listen to it during dinner.
Oh, here, I'll get that.
George figured he'd better eat something. Because this was going to take a while. There was the Rinkin silo. The river brought them back home. They weren't lost. All they had to do was stop. It was a long way to run, but when they got to that silo, they knew they'd be completely lost. It was the wrong silo. They were now even more lost than the lost chicks. George couldn't even find the river. Nothing looked familiar. But there was the duck rock again. A landmark. George had an idea. They saw the big duck rock. And what else did they pass on the river? The big trees, the boat, and Rinkin's silo. The sun set behind the Rinkin silo. Suddenly, they didn't feel so lost. They ran to that rock. But when they got there, it didn't look like the big duck rock. But as George walked around, he discovered it was the big duck rock. The big trees. They had found the next landmark. And there was the boat. Another landmark. If he followed the river all the way, he would find the silo, with the sun right behind it. But George realized that if he took the river all the way around, it would take too long. They could just take a shortcut and follow the sun. This couldn't be easier. Okay, it would have been easier if they could see where they were going. They had to walk towards the sun. But how could they find it now? It was that way. The chicks recognized those friendly monkey feet.
We'll never find those chicks in the dark.
George! Didn't I tell you to stay at the duck pen?
Oh, you brought him home! You're a hero, monkey.
George, how did you do it?
After a day lost in the country, what could be more relaxing than going home to the city?
Did you see a raft at the river? Bill made it for us. Next weekend, we take a relaxing raft trip. Won't that be fun?